This is Fayetteville on a beautiful fall day at the beginning of November, and you're watching SEC football presented by Sonic. The Mississippi State Bulldogs are here to see the Hogs as the Razorbacks welcome them to Reynolds Razorback Stadium. A rivalry that's been played every year since 1992 in the Southeastern Conference. He's the national championship winning coach, Gene Chizik. I'm Taylor Zarzer. Tori Petrie's on the field. You'll see Alyssa Lang tonight, and my guy Matt Stinchcomb will be back next week. But we had to bring you off the beaches of Destin.
I love it.
To give some words of wisdom to these two teams, Coach, right now, who have faced a lot of heartbreak in recent weeks. What do you say to Mississippi State after the way they lost to Texas last week?
Well, there's definitely been some disappointments, but there's been a lot of encouraging things as well. Look, they're probably a handful of plays away from being 7-1, so you have to build on those things. You can't look back at last week and say, what if? That game can't beat you this week. They've done some really good things. They're bought in, Taylor.
Yep.
When you watch them on film, they're playing hard. They're still getting after it. They got to learn to finish. If they learn how to finish, then they're going to be okay today.
Well, and to your point, the first three quarters, I mean, they looked like a top-level SEC team with the way that they were beating Texas. Had a 17-point lead with over 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Cowbells clanging in Stark Vegas, but Arch Manning throws the touchdown ball there. Ryan Niblett takes the punt back to the house. Then you go to overtime, and Texas gets a foot down, at least according to the replay officials, and they win the game against Mississippi State. Now Arkansas is going through their own heartbreak. They've had a chance in each of these games the last few weeks with interim head coach Bobby Petrino, a man you know well.
Well, there's no offensive problems on this football team, right? All the problems they've had have been defensively. They've got to come up with stops, and they got to come up with stops at critical times in the game, right? How do you win games in the fourth quarter? When there's chaos everywhere, you have to execute at a high level, Taylor, and that's what they're going to have to do defensively.
Let's take a look at this week's secret recipe brought to you by Bush's Grill and Beans. It all begins with Taylon Green, the quarterback for Arkansas.
Yeah, this guy is a freak, right? It reminds me a lot of Vince Young back on our 2005 national championship team. 6'6", 235 pounds. Great job as a runner. He can get the ball out. He's got some threats on the perimeter that he can throw the ball to, and watch him run the football. Whether it's a design quarterback run or a quarterback scramble, he is a problem for defenses.
The problem for him, though, last week, Coach, was what happened in the fourth quarter against the Auburn Tigers. 4 turnovers for Arkansas, including 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter last week. Each team does have more availability, though, to their disposal this week. For more on that, we go to the field and say hello to Tori Petrie.
Yeah, Taylor, the Mississippi State Bulldogs are getting running back Fluff Bothwell back on the field today. We haven't seen him since week 6 when he was carted off against Texas A&M, and now he is back on the field. Head coach Jeff Levy said he looks worlds better than he did last week in warm-up, so he is good to go. Meanwhile, Arkansas is getting one of their best defenders back in Cam Ball. He missed last week after a freak situation in practice the week prior, but he's healthy today. And defensive line mate Quincy Rhodes Jr. told us that is going to be a huge help for their efforts to stop Bothwell and that Bulldogs run game.
Jeff Levy looking for his first SEC win. I'll tell you something that's interesting that just happened. Arkansas won the toss and elected to receive. Mississippi State has gotten the football first in 24 of the last 25 games, so they'll be on defense against Bobby Petrino, the play caller, offensive coordinator, and interim head coach for the Hogs. The 36th meeting between these two teams. They played every year since 1992. That streak will end this year. They do not play next year. They'll be facing each other in Starkville again in 2 seasons. Arkansas leads the series 19-15 to 1. Both kickers wear number 80, including Kyle Ferry, you just saw kicking off for Mississippi State. Rodney Hill is deep for the Hogs, and he'll field it at the 2. And he's out past the 30-yard line. Coach Chizik, last year Taylon Green went off against these Mississippi State Bulldogs in Stark Vegas.
Yeah, he went off, and this was kind of the breakout game, right? the game where they said, where did this guy come from? Running the ball, throwing the ball, just an athletic, all-around great performance for a quarterback. That kind of got him on the radar for everybody in 2024.
5 touchdown passes and ran one in for a score as well, so 6 in total. And he's in the pistol set on the first play here from his own 31-yard line. And Green keeps it and throws against his body a good first down ball into the Mississippi State secondary. His favorite target this year, Omega Blake, for 14 yards.
Yeah, that's a great way to start the football game. You start out with a boot. You get a nice over route by Omega Blake, who, by the way, is one of his favorite targets on this football team. Great way to open the game.
49 catches for the former South Carolina Gamecock by way of Charlotte. A toss goes to Mike Washington, who gets the corner. And Washington trucks state defenders near another first down. It is one, in fact. Isaac Smith on the tackle. There is an offensive lineman down for Arkansas. And this is big news, guys. Emarian Harris at right tackle is not playing today. This is his backup, Shaq McCroy, that is down on the field for Bobby Petrino's offense. Coach, also a backup center, Cash Courtney, is starting for Caden Kittler.
Yeah, this is concerning for Arkansas. They went into the game very thin at the offensive line position. Not only just they're thin on their roster, but injuries have created issues. They have a freshman starting at center, which, again, that can be an issue with all of the communication things that the center has to do. People don't realize his involvement in the run game and the pass game, and now you have another offensive lineman down. That means that they're going to have to play some musical chairs in here and figure out who's going to go where on this offensive line.
McCroy, freshman from Bessemer, Alabama. Started his career at Oregon. Getting the start today, and 2 plays in, has to go over to the bench, and you saw Kavion Broussard come in there and give him a fist bump. He will be out on the field now at right tackle. Bobby Petrino, the interim head coach, taking over for Sam Pittman on September 28th. Of course, was the head coach here for 4 years, and there's Broussard on a 1st and 10 in state territory. Green, plenty of time, but nothing's open as flags come on the field, and Green takes on defenders inside the state 40. Brandon Jennings on the tackle.
Yeah, this is a great job.
Holding, offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty, first down.
This is a great job of coverage, right? They had everything plastered in the back end. They went with a 3 or 4 man rush, kind of spying the quarterback. You can tell that's going to be their plan early so that Taylor Green doesn't beat them with their feet on these quarterback scrambles.
Coach Broussard committing a penalty on his first play. And now 1st and 20 back on the Razorback side of the field. And it's Washington back into Mississippi State territory. Gets most of that yardage back, 8 yards in fact. Darion Gillette played so well against Texas last week on the tackle.
Yeah, and you look at Mike Washington. Go back to the Texas A&M game where every time he touched the ball, he rushed for over 9 yards a carry. He's a 230-pound running back. The NFL guys really like him. He's going to be a hand today, and Mississippi State's going to have a plan to stop him.
Was at New Mexico State last year. Tests carry here and stays on his feet down near the 42. And it'll be 3rd down for the Razorbacks, who are one of the best in college football on this down. 54% of the time, Bobby Petrino's teams convert. Loves to find his big tight end, Rohan Jones, usually on these plays. This will be a 3rd and 8. Interim offensive coordinator Colby Smith also there as Jeff Lebby waits to get the football. On the option play, Green is bottled up, nowhere to run into the interior of that Mississippi State defense. Red Hibbler forces 4th down.
Yeah, he checked it at the line of scrimmage. Not sure what they had called pass game-wise, but they thought they could get the option. They saw that there was an overhang at the end of the line of scrimmage, and they went to check the option. Mississippi State, great job staying in their gaps and playing football with great fundamentals.
It was that penalty, coach, that backed up Arkansas, and now Devin Bale comes onto the field to try to pin Mississippi State deep. No backspin, touchback, and Mississippi State will start at the 20, trying to win an SEC game for the first time in 2 years. It's a beautiful day here at the beginning of November on the hill in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The Razorbacks would love to see a win here at home. Won their first 2, dropped their last 6. Mississippi State won their first 4. Jeff Levy's team have lost their last 4 games this season as Blake Shapen and the offense start at their own 20-yard line. Shapen's thrown for over 300 yards the last 2 weeks. He goes to Devon Booth on the first play, and Booth will only get a yard as he's tackled by Cameron Ball, as Tori told you. Ball back in the lineup. Shapen is playing his best football, Coach Chiswick.
Yeah, there's no question. Going back to last week, he threw for 381 yards and 4 touchdowns against Texas. He was on fire, and his accuracy was incredible last week.
2nd and 9, takes a deep shot into double coverage, and Anthony Evans was covered up by 2 defenders, Julian Neal and the Auburn transfer, Caleb Wooten.
Julian Neal is a 6'2" corner, and you gotta love the way that he plays the ball in the air. He's one of the leading defenders as far as passes broken up. He's got a couple of picks on the year, but that was a great play by him with the ball in the air.
Wooten, one of about 20 people that hugged Gene Chiswick on the field before the game today.
I paid him for that.
3rd and 9 for Shapen. Blake takes another deep shot, throws down there, and Thompson can't make the catch, but here comes the flag. It was underthrown, and Jordan Young collided with Thompson.
Pass interference. Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, as you can see it, they just did a switch release, and then Thompson took off. He's got track speed, and Young didn't have any choice. He's thinking he's beat by 3 yards, so he gets a PI right now because he doesn't look back for the football.
And Fluff Bothwell is in the game for Mississippi State for the first time in several weeks. State fans love to see that. They fake to him and throw a short ball that's incomplete, intended for Aiden Williams, but Williams dropped it. He did have Julian Neal on him. There's Bothwell, the sophomore from Oneonta, Alabama, and transferred from South Alabama, was sensational until that ankle injury, coach, against Texas A&M.
Yeah, he's a physical back, and combined with Booth, it's a good 1-2 punch in their run game.
On 2nd and 10, it's Shapen keeping and diving ahead and setting up another 3rd and 8. Bradley Shaw was right there with him.
Yeah, that was a great job defending the quarterback run game. Everybody stayed at home. Everybody played with great leverage and getting Mississippi State into a 3rd down situation.
Shapen facing pressure, throws. Thompson tries to make the grab. They're giving him that ball at the 47-yard line. Let's see if, in fact, the speedster Thompson caught it. I don't know. They're trying to go quickly, and officials will stop the game.
Ruling on the field is a completed catch. That play is under further review.
Brian Brown, today's replay official, will take a look at this, coach. At least at first glance, it looked like that ball skipped in there.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting what they see on the review. If you look at this close right now, obviously you're trying to see if that ball actually hit the turf. It looks like it's close. It looks like it hit the turf, but his hand was underneath it. So that's going to be a close call.
Thompson, known for his track star speed, was at Texas, then at OU, and now at Mississippi State. On these judgment calls, Coach, it seems like the call on the field is what's most important. But then again, Mississippi State fans are saying, now hold on, last week they called an incompletion on a touchdown in overtime that was overruled.
It's got to be clear, right? When they look at the review, it's got to be indisputable evidence to overturn the call. And if it's not, they're going to go with the ruling on the field.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. First down.
Yeah, he got that hand in between the turf and the ball. That's what saved it, right? Thompson did a great job of literally just laying his glove right under the ball to protect it from actually hitting the turf. That was a great effort by Brennan Thompson.
2 3rd and 8s that were converted on this first possession by Mississippi State. And Chapin in the offense out near midfield. Blake still with the football. Not much as he tries to get around the corner, and Wooden pushing him out. Caleb, the Auburn transfer that had a big game last week, career high 10 tackles against Auburn in that loss. Line of scrimmage ball that's caught over there, but not much doing for Aiden Williams. And again, Arkansas has won first and second down, Coach. Just can't get off the field on these 3rd and longs.
Well, I'm really impressed with Arkansas's defense on the perimeter right now. They've tried to get Blaken on the perimeter with a run and a pass. Now they try to throw a spot screen out there. They're really, really being disciplined on the perimeter as far as the defense goes and making plays in space.
Chapin on 3rd and 10, facing pressure, throws, and Traore makes the catch, but short of the first down. Now let's see if this is 4-down territory for Jeff Lebby. He loves to go for these when he's just past midfield. There's Chris Wilson, the interim defensive coordinator. This is a 4th and 6. Coach Lebby's team is 9 of 16 on 4th down this year. Arkansas decided to punt from this area. State's going for it. Chapin, the safety valve, first down to Bothwell. Green grass in front of him and inside the 20, and pushes his way to a 1st and goal.
Chapin was under pressure, and Bothwell leaked out as the check down to the left side. Nobody covered him. It was green grass once he caught the ball. That was a great job by Blake Chapin, keeping his eyes down the field, not watching the rush, and being able to dump the ball off to Bothwell.
39 yards to Fluff in his first game back in almost a month. And the Bulldogs have 1st and goal inside the 9. High snap, Bothwell takes it. Doesn't get much. Tackled by Jeffrard. It'll be 2nd and goal. Coach Bothwell over 400 yards rushing, averaging 5.5 as he goes out of the game. That looked like a gruesome ankle injury in College Station, but it was just a sprain. Back in the game the first time in weeks, but he's out here as Booth comes in on a 2nd and goal. Chapin rolling, throwing, incomplete. Thompson had it in his hands.
That was just an overthrown pass. That was a really good call down here. It was actually a double move off a sprint out. He sprinted to his right. Thompson went like it was going to run an outcut. Boom, then he turned it up, and he just overthrew him just a hair. Well, that would have been a touchdown.
Danny saw Ely applying a little pressure for the Razorbacks. State's converted 2 3rd downs and a 4th down, and this is the 12th play of the drive on a 3rd and goal. Chapin, again the safety valve, and beating him to the corner for the touchdown is Devon Booth. Stephen Dix Jr. had a chance at him, but Booth simply outran him and State strikes first.
That's 2 tailbacks in a row with explosive plays. And again, watching the check down, being aware of where your check down is. Booth this time leaked out to the right, got a one-on-one out in open space, and was able to do the rest. Again, open space, those are hard tackles for those linebackers to make.
Kyle Ferry with the extra point. State outscoring opponents 79-19 in the first quarter. That's not been the problem. Can they do it for 60 minutes? The Bulldogs are on the board in Fayetteville.
SEC football is presented by Sonic. Buy one Sonic Smasher and get a free large drink when you order in the Sonic app. And in part by T-Mobile 5G home internet.
You're looking at the last 2 wins in the Southeastern Conference for each of these schools, and they came against each other. That slobber knocker 2 years ago here that Mississippi State won 7-3. Arkansas winning in Starkville last year. Blake Shapen found 5 different targets on that 12-play drive as the Bulldogs strike first. And the Razorbacks will get it at the 25-yard line. Let's go down to Torrey.
Well, guys, right tackle Shaq McCroy came out of the injury tent a bit ago with a brace on his left knee. He took some practice blocking reps, and ultimately he looked up at the trainers and said no. He went over to his offensive line teammates, told them he was not okay to go back into this one, and then headed to the locker room.
Big loss for Arkansas, Torrey. Marion Harris unable to play today, and now they're at their 3rd string tackle. Green swings it out there to C.J. Brown, and Brown will get a couple of yards. Coach Chiswick, Arkansas able to move the ball in that first drive, but it was that penalty that really stunted their ability to do anything.
Yeah, and I like the way they started the football game. They started out with some misdirection boots, tried to get the ball in the perimeter, did the same thing on first down right there.
On 2nd and 6, Green in an empty backfield. Plenty of time. Look at this. And now the athlete in him runs for the first down. He can simply do it all. That's a pickup of 12.
You know, that's a prime example of, yes, we had a spy guy for him, but he's so athletic, he can outrun your spy guy. And that's what happened. They went with a 3-man rush with the spy, and he simply outran the spy.
It's good protecting the football in SEC play until the 4th quarter last week when he threw those 3 interceptions. Plenty of time again and dumps it off out of the backfield, and it's Jaden Platt who makes a catch for about a yard there on the play. He was covered up there by Nick Mitchell. It'll be 2nd and 9. Green has completed 12 balls to each tight end, Platt and Jones this year. As you see Coleman Hutzler, the defensive coordinator at Mississippi State, whose side of the ball has improved in every way from last year to this year. Braylon Russell with his first action, and he's tackled quickly. Russell had 175 yards against the Bulldogs last year in that big win in Starkville. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, that's a good look by Mississippi State's defense. They start out in a 3-safety look. You don't know who they're dropping down to be able to fit the run, and the middle safety comes down and makes the tackle. Again, that's a problem for offenses, trying to recognize who you have to block for the run fit.
Isaac Smith, tackling machine last year on the stop. On 3rd and 9, Green faces pressure, and he's going down back inside the 35. It's Nick Mitchell.
That was a great job. Great call by Coach Hutz. This is where they make their hay on defense. Really 5- and 6-man pressures. He does a great job with it. There's an illusion that there's 6 men, but they really only bring 4, and they spy a guy. So this brings pressure, and it can create confusion for the offensive line, especially with new guys in there trying to identify who the blitzers and who the blitzers are not going to be.
Bale into punt for the 2nd time. Evans is a dangerous return man for Georgia last year. Takes a good Arkansas bounce, and Mississippi State will begin their second drive inside their 15 after a 56-yard punt. His first sack of the game goes to Mississippi State's Nick Mitchell.
Yeah, I love what they did here. If you watch Nick Mitchell, he's actually man-to-man on the tailback, Braylon Russell. But it's what we call a green dog. If he blocks, then he's going to rush. Watch it unfold. Here he goes. He's going to block the edge. He just adds on the sack, and he gets a great job on a negative play, and that's what it's going to take to be able to get him on the ground.
Coleman Hutzler loves it. His offense back on the field, and Fluff Bothwell is bottled up, losing yardage. Razorbacks have been very good on the perimeter so far in this game. Quincy Rhodes and also Bradley Shaw following Bothwell there for a loss.
They have been impressive on the perimeter. Everybody's staying at home. Everybody's being disciplined and doing their jobs to stop the outside perimeter game.
On 2nd and 12, Chapin throwing it over the top. Incomplete. Trying to force it down there to the tight end Traore, but just a bit overthrown as Larry Worth III was in coverage. Coach, this is a little unusual because Jeff Levy, the Mississippi State head coach, says it's so important to win first down. He hasn't won one yet, but he's been so good on 3rd and long.
Well, he's got another opportunity for a 3rd and long. 3rd down and 12 at this point. Again, watch his go-to guys.
Chapin on 3rd and 12, throws into traffic. It's incomplete. He was looking for Evans, but Evans was covered up on the play. And it's 4th down, a quick 3 and out for Mississippi State.
Yeah, he's going to Anthony Evans. Again, 3rd down, that's one of his big 3rd down targets. He's a guy that can catch the ball and do something with the ball after the catch. But that was a great job of defending by Arkansas to get the punt.
It was Jordan Young who did it, and now it's Ethan Pulliam, who would have a school record in punting average, 47.8. He's got to back up a bit.
Before the snap, ball start. Offense, number 22. 5-yard penalty, 4.
Pulliam had that big 58-yard punt last week, Coach, but maybe outkicked his coverage as Ryan Niblett for Texas took it 79 yards for a game-tying 4th quarter touchdown.
Well, it's okay to kick it long as you have the right hang time and get you guys an opportunity to get down there and cover.
Pulliam with a beautiful kick here deep in his own end zone, and fair catch called for by Cam Shanks. Back at the 44-yard line, that's a 52-yard punt. Let's take a look at For the Win, brought to you by Sanderson Farms. Look how much better, Coach Chizik, Coleman Hutzler's defense has been from last year to this year.
Yeah, and you could tell Coach Hutz was very confident yesterday in the meetings about the library that he's built where they can just pull things. They're not reinventing things week by week. You can tell that all of the reps have carried over because they haven't changed anything from game 1 to now.
He has this interesting statistic that he keeps track of that we'll tell you about. Green on the first down, keeps the ball. And he's tracked down near the sideline by Jerron Manning. Manning played so well for Coach Hutzler last week. Coach Hutzler wants to get 6. 3 and outs, 4th down stops, and turnovers combined. He wants 6 of those combined in the game, Coach. He thinks that's the recipe for victory.
Well, he got that from Navy is what he was talking about, and that would make total sense. Those are the 3 kind of pillars of defense that you measure every week, and winning 6 of those certainly would go a long way in winning a game.
He's not getting a lot of pressure on Talon Green, but good coverage down the field, and Travion Williams able to get him on the ground. It's 3rd down.
Mississippi State doing a really nice job of plastering routes down the field. You can tell that they've worked on these quarterback scrambles. When the ball doesn't come out on rhythm, they've got to lock the receivers and then make the quarterback do something with the ball, or you get your guys there and you get a sack. So that's the second one of the day. Good job by Mississippi State in coverage.
And the reason why you're not seeing a lot of pressure is because of those numbers you just saw on the screen. And on 3rd and 8, here's some pressure. And Green gets out of there and makes them pay. First down, Arkansas, inside the 40.
Well, this is what we talked about yesterday with Coach Hutz, right? How many guys do you bring and how many backs are to the ball? That was a 6-man pressure. It didn't get there. He escaped one guy, and now you're looking at a first down on the other side of the 50.
Green is one of the best runners at the quarterback spot in all of college football. 5th most rushing yards, over 600 on the season, 16 on that last play. And now we'll hand to Washington. And Mike takes on Bulldogs inside the 30. Great first down run for Bobby Petrino's team of 8, almost 9 yards.
Yeah, and I think this is a great example of being patient with the run game. In his heart, Bobby Petrino wants to run the football. That was a truck play right now where they're going to pull 2 linemen on the perimeter and let Mike Washington do the rest on his own. But they got to be patient and stick with the run game. And it doesn't have to be the quarterback run game. They've got really, really effective tailbacks for Arkansas.
You worked on the same staff with Coach Petrino at Auburn. Of course, he was the head coach here, also at Louisville, twice, the Falcons, Western Kentucky, and Missouri State. Washington moves laterally, and he appears to be short as Jamil Burrows able to get in there and get the initial hit. It'll be 3rd and short.
This is where you'll see Bobby Petrino bring in big people, right? He usually likes to bring in tight ends and a lot of them, right? Tight ends, fullbacks, and this is bully ball. Now, you're sitting in a situation where you're 3rd and 1. He can actually fake that because this is 4-down territory, so he could play action here, or he could decide to do bully ball and just run the tailback with 2 tight ends in the game.
Instead, it's a sweep to a receiver who gets the edge and gets the first down. That's Rohan Jones, the big tight end, who gets the ball in the backfield on the last play of the first quarter. Arkansas will have a fresh set of downs in Mississippi State territory to start the second.
Great 3rd down conversion there, Coach. What's working for your offense on this drive?
Well, we've been able to run the ball. You know, they're dropping everyone into pass, so they're covering us up. We got to be patient, run the ball, and make some plays with our checkdowns.
What's the key to scoring here?
You got to drive it in.
Thanks, Coach.
Driving it in could be via the run, as you saw the play distribution there, Coach. 13 of 16 plays, Arkansas has run the ball either with their quarterback or a tailback.
Yeah, Mike Washington is averaging 6.6 yards per carry. They're going to keep giving it to Mike Washington. Like I said, running game is his #1 priority in terms of him calling plays. Green
loads up to throw this time, and it's a first down. And inside the 2 are the Razorbacks, as that's Raylan Sharp, 1st and goal, Arkansas.
Raylan Sharp had a huge day last week against Auburn with a 58-yard touchdown, but he's one of Taylor Green's go-to guys. And again, that was a great job, him getting open off the play action. And you're going to see more of that today coming off of the run game, which is what Bobby wants to do. He wants to set up all the pass game off of the run game.
22-yard completion. We do have an injury timeout, I do believe, that is on the sideline. It is a Mississippi State player, it appears. Don't have a... Jerron Manning was outstanding against Texas last week. Certainly wouldn't want to lose him if you're Jeff Lebby.
Jerron Manning is the great eraser.
Here's another look at it as we take a timeout, and we'll be right back. Jaron Manning goes to the locker room. First and goal, snap issues there. And Talon Green dives on it back at the 3. Just colliding, Coach, with Mike Washington there.
Yeah, just a bad exchange. The ball was a little bit high on the snap. And then Washington literally hit Washington at the top of the numbers. You want to put it right there where the bottom of his numbers are. Just a bad exchange.
Again, Manning off of the field for Mississippi State on defense. Looked rather wobbly as he was heading to the locker room. On second and goal, Green, easy pitch and catch. Rohan Jones touchdown.
Rohan Jones, the tight end, 6'3", 240 pounds, and he's a huge target in the red zone. Coach Petrino talked about him yesterday on getting him the ball more. He's athletic, he's good out in space, but he can also be a blocker. So off these play actions, that's where you can really see him show up. He'll slip a defender and be wide open like he was right there, coming across from the other side of the formation.
9 plays, 56 yards. And Scott Starzik ties it up. Short field after Arkansas's defense pinned State deep. And the Razorbacks make them pay. We're tied up on homecoming on the Hill. I don't know about you, Coach. I have no idea who's playing in that game in Atlanta in the SEC championship game. There's so many options in the Southeastern Conference. How about Texas beating Vandy earlier today?
Yeah, I wasn't sure that I saw that one coming quite like it happened. Nothing surprises me, though, TZ. I mean, this league is wide open from week to week. Who knows? But that's what's going to make November so interesting from today on. You don't know what's going to happen.
A&M barely got out of here with a win a couple of weeks ago, and they're still undefeated overall. Alabama's undefeated in conference play. Bulldogs won it at the 25, but Booth, because he's struggled catching the ball, takes it out, calling for that fair catch, and now he just barely gets past the 10. I believe he still could have put a knee on that, Coach, because of where he was when the ball made contact with him, but he wasn't going to risk it.
No, he wasn't sure exactly what he could do. He could have done that and taken the knee back there, but he wasn't sure what to do, so he brought it out.
In fact, how about this? Because, let's see here, the officials are giving him a fair catch because he called for one and was in the end zone. Since he called for the fair catch and eventually was able to control the ball, they get it at the 25-yard line.
Well, that's a great break for Mississippi State. Starting on the 25 instead of the 12, they'll take it every time.
Shaping a toss ahead, and this is Evans. Evans has been so good in space this year, but loses the ball. And Mississippi State dodges a huge bullet there. Caleb Wooden forced the fumble.
What a great effort by Traore, coming back to get that ball and recover it, coming from all the way across the field. That's an incredible effort.
Sure is, and Mississippi State gets 20 yards out of it. Now Bothwell to the ground, losing yardage. Hit quickly by Bradley Shaw. Mississippi State offensive line going through a number of changes here today. Jimothy Lewis up at left tackle. Javen James going from left tackle to right. And Albert Reese injured this week. Stephen Dix tackles Bothwell, and it'll be third down. And Coach will see if this newly formed offensive line can protect Chapin here on the third down. Chapin throws over the top. And it is incomplete. Evans had a hand on it, but Jordan Young with good coverage, and it's 4th down.
Well, that was great coverage by Jordan Young, but Evans put that one hand up, and you thought for a second he was going to come down with the football. But again, that was a great job of pass defense. Number 4 never looked back for the ball. He kept concentrating and fighting till he got the ball out at the end of the play and kept working for it. That was a great job.
This time it'll be Nathan Tice, the Australian rugby-style kicker, that comes on to punt. Cam Shanks is back deep. And it's a touchback as the Razorbacks will get it at the 20-yard line. After we're done, it's Auburn hosting Kentucky for our nightcap on SEC Network and the all-new ESPN app. Auburn won their first 3, dropped their next 4, Coach, until before they won here last week to even their record.
Yeah, that was a huge win for Auburn here. It didn't look good for 3 quarters, but you talk about the ability to finish. It's one of the few times this year that they did finish and came out of this with a victory, and that was huge for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers.
Talon Green and the Razorbacks back on offense. And it's Washington not getting much there, maybe 2 yards up to the 22. Mississippi State with just 6 yards rushing so far in the game, Coach. Arkansas has 60.
Yeah, and you're going to keep seeing Bobby Petrino go to the run. That's what this team is built on. He understands that they're maximizing coverage back there, dropping 7 and 8 guys. So that's when they're a little bit light on the box. You're going to see him continue to run it, take their shots down the field.
Green throws, and it's a good one to Sharp. First down for Raylan. Out past the 35.
When Raylan Sharp is in that, what we call the 2 spot, right inside the wideout, those sit-down routes, those 6 and 7 yard routes, they just get him the ball and let him turn it up the field and try to get yak yards after the catch. Great job by Raylan.
13 yards. Sharp started his career for Bobby Petrino at Missouri State. Green in an empty backfield surveys, and it's too far in front of Omega Blake. Let's go down to Torrey.
Yeah, guys, Talon Green had those 3 interceptions last week versus Auburn, but interim head coach Bobby Petrino talked to his quarterback this week and said, hey, part of playing this position is taking the blame when things go wrong, but he has been really happy with how Green responded this week. He said he worked harder in practice and was so accurate all week.
He was 6 of 6, Torrey, before his first incompletion there. This is Washington, and Mike will dive ahead for a couple. Will be 3rd and long here for Arkansas. Nick Mitchell on the tackle.
Nick Mitchell's a guy that's all over the field. He loves football. He's got instincts. He's got vision. You're going to see him show up a bunch today. This is his 17th straight start, and he's one of the leaders in this defense.
Born to play Mike linebacker, had to play out of position last year. Bulldogs bring pressure here on a 3rd and 9, and on a slant, that's a short ball completed to Blake, but not enough to move the chains. Here's a 4th down as Washington makes the tackle, and at least for now, Talon Green is staying on the field.
Well, Bobby Petrino says, look, what do we have to lose, right? Let's go ahead and go for this. We're at midfield. He goes with 4 wideouts in the game. What they're going to have to do is be able to protect this 6-man walk-up if they bring all the pressure.
Are they trying to draw them off or really going? Really going. 4th and 4, first down. Washington straight ahead, Smith on the tackle, but first down, Razorbacks.
Well, they caught him where they were getting ready to drop some defenders out of there. It was actually a really good call, a gutsy call. But again, Mike Washington is the go-to guy in the ground game.
Green, downfield, good ball, first down inside the 30 to Cam Shanks.
That was a great throw, hitting the seam ball to Shanks right down the hash. You can see him, he's going to go right outside the defender. And that was a great job holding onto the ball after the catch. Really great job on the seam ball. Popped it in there, held onto the football. Great job in getting first down.
25 yards on the play as Kelly Jones delivered a big hit there. Shanks, just 5'8", 170 pounds from Prattville, Alabama. That's Chiswick country, by the way.
It is Chiswick country, and going back to who made the tackle, Kelly Jones is a 6'4" corner that the NFL guys are licking their chops on. Watch him come out of his third and collapse on this inside route, and he just delivers a blow. But that's a 200-pound guy that's bringing a lot of velocity, but he's a great cover guy. Keep your eye on him. He's fun to watch.
They don't even throw at him in practice, Jeff Lebby says. Played a great game against Texas last week. Arkansas driving, though, again in this 7-7 game. And Green drifting back, facing pressure, just has to throw it away. Travion Williams applying that pressure. It's 2nd and 10.
That was a great job on coverage down the field. There wasn't a route open. They literally plastered every single route. There was no over route. There was no vertical route. And Taylon Green just had to throw it out of bounds. That was a good decision by him, and instead of trying to force the ball somewhere where there wasn't a chance for it to get in.
Green leads the nation in total offense. He averages 6.7 yards a carry. On 2nd and 10, it's Washington. And he gets down near the 25-yard line. It can't be just Green, though, Coach. As you were saying earlier, someone else like a Mike Washington has to step up if Arkansas is going to win in the SEC.
Yeah, and what Mississippi State's doing right now is they're doing a great job on the perimeter, making sure that when they run zone reads that they're giving Taylon the read to give the ball and not keep it. And again, trying to take the ball out of his hands and make sure that they don't have to deal with him on the perimeter.
10th play of the drive. Green out of the backfield to Washington. He is down just inside the 25 as Kelly Jones, that big corner, making the tackle. It'll be a field goal attempt now for the Razorbacks to grab the lead. And the freshman from outside of Houston, Scott Starzik, comes on.
That was a great stop by Mississippi State, playing zone coverage and rallying to the ball, creating this 4th down, making them kick a field goal.
42-yard attempt from the young man from the Woodlands, Texas. And he squeezes it through there. He's made 8 in a row, and he gives the Razorbacks their first lead of the game. Arkansas trying to win on the hill in the SEC. Scott Starzik gives Arkansas a 10-7 lead with his 42-yard field goal as the Razorbacks enjoy homecoming here at the beginning of November. This program has had 6 coaching changes in the last 20 years. So desperate for some stability. Mississippi State has found the right man as their head coach, Jeff Lebby. In his 2nd year as the head coach of the Bulldogs, they were 2-10 last year. Started the season 4-0, had that big win against Arizona State, but coached the gut-wrenching losses in overtime to Tennessee, on the road in the swamp, and last week to Texas.
Yeah, they could be 7-1 at this point, but you know what I like? You can tell that he's building the culture the way he wants to build the culture. And it's never been more important to have that in terms of building that, because it's such a transient sport now. Every year your roster turns over, and trying to build the culture like he's doing, eventually it will equate to wins.
He's going to get one today. He's going to have to get the ground game going. And it's not going to happen here. Booth is hit in the backfield by Quincy Rhodes Jr. That's a tackle for loss. Mississippi State has 4 yards rushing on 8 carries.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to block these inside guys, right? These negative plays, they can't happen in this offense, and you can't rely on throwing the ball every snap.
Well, this will help. Shapen dives ahead and gets out to the 37-yard line and a first down.
Well, this is where you're going to see them go fast. And again, this is about the only way they've been able to run the ball all day. The tailback run game has been minimal at best, but they're going to have to get that going, and they're going to have to stay with it.
Out route throw to Cam Ball, and ball was down on the ground.
Second down.
Ball, the big tight end, who goes by the same name as an Arkansas defender, makes the catch here and was down. Caleb Wooden on the tackle. It'll be second and short. It's Booth, and he's losing yardage. Charlie Collins on the tackle for loss.
That's 2 times they've run the tailback in this series and ended up with a TFL. Again, remember, there's a bunch of people on that offensive line that have not played the positions they're playing in today. That's the 5th Arkansas TFL for the day. And again, they're going to have to figure it out, but tempo will help them try to get something going in the run game.
On 3rd and 5, Shapen throws downfield, first down in Razorbacks territory. It's Brennan Thompson.
Boy, this is what Blake Shapen does, right? He keeps his eyes down the field. He doesn't watch the rush. He's not worried about pressure. He has great pocket presence. That was a great strike for a huge 3rd down conversion.
Of 21 yards. Bothwell helps with protection, and he overthrows the end zone, but a flag comes in. Julian Neal, the defender there, and Bobby Petrino doesn't like it.
Well, he's saying that the ball was uncatchable.
There is no foul on the play. The ball was uncatchable. Second down.
You said it, Coach. And Jeff Heiser, the referee, agrees.
Yeah, that was just an overthrow. And again, the ball was uncatchable, even though there was contact made. It's going to put him back into a 2nd and 10.
Bothwell goes forward inside the 35 down to the 34 where Bradley Shaw makes the tackle. Coach, the Razorbacks rushing defense is the worst in the Southeastern Conference of the 16 teams, giving up over 200 yards rushing in each of the last 5 games, but they have been terrific in the first half today.
Well, getting Cam Ball back definitely helps. They're playing great defense today in terms of the run game. Boy, they're just playing gap sound. They're all fitting the run with their linebackers and their safeties really, really well.
High snap, Shapen has to go down. Cam Ball will get credit for it. Cannon Boone's snap was a little too high for Blake Shapen.
Well, we just talked about the presence of Cam Ball against the run, right? Just having an older guy back, guys that the young guys look up to. That was a great job by Cam Ball getting the pressure and getting credit for the sack.
Cam Shanks, who was banged up on the last drive, is back. And it's Tice trying to pin the Razorbacks deep. And he's done it. The Aussie puts it down at the 3-yard line. 26-year-old true freshman from Australia, one of the oldest players in college football. Comes in to be the directional punter for Mississippi State off the bench and does his job.
Well, the way I say it, TZ, always, is that nobody really talks much about the punter till you either don't have one or you got a great one. Either way, and then they become the talk of the town. What a great job winning the field position battle with that punt.
Taylon Green with Braylon Russell behind him in the end zone. Russell Positive run on first down out to the 8. Kelly Jones tackles him. Outside of 3 minutes left in the first half, the Razorbacks with the lead. Mississippi State will get the ball to start the second half.
Bobby Petrino right now is thinking, I just got to get one first down. The clock is running. There's 3:33 left. Just give me one first down. Get me off the back of the end zone here. Whether I run it, could be a play action or a boot right here, but just get the ball off the goal line.
It is a first down run. It's Green that still has the ball, and Green's outside past the 20. Zachary Tillman on the tackle after a 14-yard pickup.
That was a great job. It was just really the split zone with the quarterback having the capability to read it and keep it. Again, this is where you have to defend the perimeter against number 10, Taylon Green. Otherwise, you look up and you got first downs and a lot of yardage in the run game with the quarterback.
Both teams with all 3 of their timeouts. And Green all day to throw. And a good ball across the middle to Platt. Big tight end from Hazlitt, Texas. He started his career at Texas A&M with a 15-yard grab.
Bobby Petrino loves hitting those tight ends. He loves them in the pass game. He loves to use them in the run game. But this is a great strike and a great catch by Platt.
Green, short ball that is caught by Platt up past the 40 to the 43. That'll send us to the 2-minute timeout. Arkansas trailed 7-0, but they've scored 10 unanswered, and they're on the march with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Dari here, your man Mr. Chiswick left the beach to come watch Arkansas lead Mississippi State 10-7, and the Razorbacks have it at the 2-minute timeout near midfield. Taylon Green's facing pressure on the backside and gets it out near a first down, just short to Raylan Sharp.
Wouldn't want to be anywhere else but with you right now, TZ, number 1 and number 2. Great job on the mesh route. Great decision making and really put the ball only place he could put it as the receiver was running the mesh underneath.
Hunter Washington preventing the first down there with the tackle, and now 3rd and 1. And Washington, no, Green kept it, and he appears like he's about a foot short. Zachary Tillman comes in to make the tackle, one of those zone read plays where you have the option coach to give it to the back, and Green keeping it, and now it's 4th down, and Arkansas offense still on the field.
Yeah, they brought in their 2 tight ends. So again, you're going to see possibly quarterback sneak here. Looks like it's probably going to be quarterback sneak.
It is, and it's close.
Looks like he got it.
To get over the 46-yard line, and the ball will be spotted there.
First down.
What a call. 2 times on 4th down on their own side of the field, able to convert.
52 seconds left. So again, they're going to have to be smart. They've got 3 timeouts left.
First.
Mississippi State and Jeff Lebby will use one of those timeouts. Let's send it down to Tori.
Yeah, guys, Jerron Manning headed to the locker room a bit ago and has not been back out on the field. We are told he is doubtful to return with an upper body injury, but they will assess him at the half.
That's a big blow. He's so slowly leaving the field right in front of you, Tori. Jeff Lebby. Coach, I think that Lebby called timeout here because he wanted the officiating crew to take another look at whether or not Taylon Green had enough to get the first down, but evidently the officiating team and the replay officials have seen enough. And now, in fact, the announcement from Jeff Heiser, the referee on the field, says they are going to take a look at it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a hard one to overturn. Again, Taylor, it's going back to the same thing. Is there indisputable evidence to do that? The ball crossed the line to gain on the initial call, which was a first down. I just don't see him being able to turn that over, just to reverse that call.
I don't know how quickly this will go, Coach, but you got a number of guys that have been head coaches on Mississippi State's staff. They have Paul Rhodes, they have Mike McIntyre, that have both been head coaches. You, of course, were a head coach when you were working most recently at North Carolina for Mac Brown. Who all is in your ear when you're making these decisions?
Well, I think that the guys that you just mentioned with Mike McIntyre and Paul Rhodes, they're not necessarily in the head coach's ear. I think they're more in the defensive coordinators' day-to-day, game planning and things of that nature. I think it's great to be able, sometimes as a coordinator, you can get too much into the weeds and you need just an extra set of eyes to come back and say, hey, look, maybe look at it.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld for a first down. Please reset the game clock to 53 seconds. The clock will start on my ready. Mississippi State is not charged a timeout. They have 3 remaining.
Yeah, there was no way they were going to overturn that call. Just there's not enough evidence to do that. But back to your point, it really helps to have some senior wisdom on that staff, as long as they're there to really help the young guys. And I think that's what Jeff's done. He's a young head coach himself. And on Sundays, he probably goes to those guys and says, hey, if you were me, let's go ahead and look at some of the decisions I made and help me out.
Just waiting for the whistle here, and both teams still have all 3 of their timeouts. Plenty of time for Green again, and he throws it underneath. And out of bounds goes Washington, down near the Mississippi State 40. Gillette pushed him out.
Again, that was a great job locating the check down. Everything down the field was covered, dumping it off. Great job by Washington getting out of bounds to preserve the time. And keep in mind, Arkansas still has 3 timeouts. There's plenty of time for them to go down and score.
Green pressured and throws it away. Ray Bledsoe was near him, and why he threw that into the bench.
Yeah, and I think that was a wise decision, right? You're in a position right now where you're putting yourself close to at least getting a field goal. Whatever you do right now, don't throw an interception and don't take a sack. That's what the coordinator should be saying to him before every snap. If you have any doubt, throw the ball away.
10th play of the drive. Green with flags down, near a first down.
Holding, offense, number 51. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
Left tackle Corey Robinson.
Yeah, and let me be clear. Not only do you not throw picks or take sacks, you can't have these type of holding penalties, right? This is what kills drives. If you look at the tackle right there, his left hand literally grabs the outside rusher, and you're going to get called for that every time when you see there's cloth being pulled at and jerked on. And that's a huge mistake.
Just 3 players pressure Green, and he dumps it off, incomplete. Clock stopped with 18 seconds to go.
We talk about what gets you over the hump in these critical times, right? Well, this is the end of the half. They had a drive going. But when you look at teams that haven't found a way to win, that's what you see in critical moments. You see a penalty. It happened to Mississippi State last week in the end of the Texas game. 4 penalties in the 4th quarter. Those are the things that literally kill you. And now Arkansas had points pretty much on the board, and then they went backwards because of a penalty.
It's still get into field goal range. Instead, they get the first down. inside the 20, down near the 12 goes Raylan Sharp.
Great job on the seam ball. Taylor Green being patient in the pocket, waiting for the route to come open as Sharp ran down the left hash, and he hit him right on the run. Great job, great throw, great catch. Puts himself in a position to put points on the board before the half.
38-yard completion to Sharp. You saw that there were only 5 seconds left on the clock. They put 3 more on, so 8 seconds left. And coach, you have 2 timeouts, so the offense can stay on the field before you bring the field goal team out.
Yeah, so this is a decision that Bobby's got to make, right? I've got a guaranteed 3 points, at least you hope so. Do I take one more shot to the end zone, right? And if I do that, I got to make sure that my quarterback doesn't scramble, doesn't eat time. It's got to be a bang-bang play so that if something happens, we get tackled, we get down, we call a timeout immediately, and we're able to kick the field goal.
Trino with such a passion for play calling, been doing it throughout his entire career at the collegiate and professional level. Now they've gone from 5 seconds to 8 seconds to 10 seconds.
Well, that's definitely time for one more play. And you'll see a shot to the end zone.
It's the 12th play of the drive. Green facing pressure, throws, incomplete. Raylan Sharp was the target. Kelly Jones in coverage. No flags on the field and 4 seconds left in the half.
Well, let me go back to this throw and who he threw it to. You're looking at a 5'9" wideout versus a 6'4" corner. That was a great job by Jones.
5 seconds.
You heard Jeff Easer's voice trailing there. They did not throw a flag because they're saying that Sharp was already out of bounds. It's why the judge took his hat off. And this will be a 30-yard attempt for Starzyk. And Arkansas has a 13-7 lead. Starzyk is from Golf Country in the Woodlands, Texas. He's playing the power fade on those 2 field goals. Remember, at halftime, you can watch the live performance of the Razorback Marching Band on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. Well, Coach, Arkansas has more than doubled up Mississippi State in total yards in the first half.
Well, look at that drive. 13 plays. They started all the way back around their own 10-yard line. 13 plays. 85 yards on a 4-minute time of possession. If you look at the time of possession in this game, you're looking at one team that's literally got 19, almost 20 minutes of possession in Arkansas. Mississippi State is half of that. So Mississippi State's going to have to come out of this locker room and figure out a way to possess the ball and drive the football, and it's going to start with trying to run the ball.
Only 12 yards rushing in the first half. And on the last play, Booth just allows the teams to go to the locker room. Mississippi State does get the ball first in the third quarter. And Tori's down there with Coach Levy.
Thanks, Taylor. Coach, Arkansas able to get some points on the board right there before the half. What's your defense need to do to prevent that?
Yeah, for us, we got them in a 3rd and 20. We got to be able to get off the field right there, make them go punt the football and save them from getting 3 points. But offensively, it's the negative plays in the run game. And that's what's kept the defense on the field. So we got to clean that up right now.
What do you need to improve in that run game in the second half?
It is. We got to hat people. We got to get hat on hat and be able to go move people in the run game to give us a chance.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Coming up, it is the Auto Owners Insurance Halftime Report with our guy, Dari Noka. Watching SEC football presented by Sonic. A beautiful November day for homecoming in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And the Razorbacks trying to win their first SEC game since last season when they did it against Mississippi State. Glad to have my man Gene Chizik with me. I'm Taylor Zarzer. Tori Petrie on the field. You'll see her in just a minute. Coach, the Mississippi State Bulldogs cannot run the ball against this Arkansas defense today, and Taylon Green has looked good at quarterback for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, 12 rushes for Mississippi State, 12 yards. If my math is right, that's 1 yard per carry. So they're going to have to find out and figure out at halftime how to run the football. But let's not minimize what Arkansas's defense done. Their run fits have been great. They've been flying to the football. They're playing with energy. They're creating negative plays. And Mississippi State can't convert on third downs consistently either.
Yeah, Arkansas's rush defense has not done a good job all year until today, but terrific for the first 30 minutes. Mississippi State went 12 plays, 80 yards, and a touchdown to start the game, but 3 punts and 52 yards since. They will get the ball first to start the second half. And they'll get it at the 25-yard line. Now let's take a look at Fueling Performance, brought to you by Gatorade. Bulldogs have struggled to get the ground game going today, Coach.
Yep, TFLs. Everybody's staying at home. They're taking away the perimeter run game. They're really fitting their gaps well, and they're vertically penetrating on the defensive line, creating negative plays. I think they've done a great job so far in the first half.
Interim defensive coordinator there, Chris Wilson. Bothwell playing for the first time in 3 weeks since he injured his ankle against Texas A&M, in there for protection, as Chapin miscommunication there with his receiver, Anthony Evans, and Chapin with flags near him, slow to get up.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 97, second act with body weight, 15-yard penalty, first down.
The sack artist Quincy Rhodes here, Coach.
Yeah, he is definitely a guy on this defensive line that can rush the passer, but again, they got to make great decisions in critical moments. This is what kills drives. This is what kills defenses. When you have a great stop, it would have been 2nd and 10. Now all of a sudden you're 15 yards down the field, and it's 1st and 10 all over again.
Out to the 40.
Timeout for a medical stoppage. Player number 2 of the offense needs to go off for one play.
Blake Chapin took a big hit there from Rhodes. And the medical observer says you need to come out of the game. Let's take another look here. Coach, the personal foul called on Rhodes, evidently because he drove Chapin to the ground after he got rid of the football. So Chapin out, and Camario Taylor, who we've seen quite a bit as a specialist at quarterback in short yardage situation, is in. And Taylor keeps the football and gets past the 45. Taylor threw a touchdown pass that was deflected last week in the first quarter and stays in the game.
Yeah, he's a big 6'4", 230-pound athlete. He's a freshman. Last week he threw one pass, and it was for a touchdown, so that's pretty good success.
7 yards on the first play, running everywhere to get a few yards and a first down on the next. And he's been the most effective runner so far for Mississippi State today.
Well, those are designed quarterback runs. It's a smart way to get him involved in the game. You don't have any exchange issues with the tailback. He's kept the ball, and now we can get him more comfortable in the football game.
And it's Bothwell that goes forward to the 45-yard line. Blake Chapin is not in the tent. He's just standing over there near the 40-yard line. And Taylor will throw deep and has a man. It's caught. It's a touchdown for Anthony Evans. Chapin has to go out, and Camario Taylor makes Arkansas pay.
What a great way to start the football game. You start out with 2 successful runs, you get a first down, and then you take a shot. Great play calling, great execution. Look at the protection. And he steps up, he's not rattled, he throws a strike down the field. What a great way to start a football game.
A 45-yard touchdown. Mississippi State has 15 plays over 40 yards this season. That leads all of college football.
Well, you talk about discussions at halftime, right? What do we say we got to do? Well, we weren't anticipating our quarterback going out, but maybe they had some plays designed. Maybe they had some plays designed for Taylor later in the football game.
Coach, it looked like Anthony Evans' right knee is down right as he goes to the goal line. Question is that ball on the white when that right knee hits?
It doesn't look like when the knee hit, the ball was over when you see the other angle. But again, it's going to take irrefutable evidence to get this overturned.
If it is overturned rather, and Mississippi State has the ball at the 1, this is where Kamario Taylor always comes into the game. Evans, simply a specialist at Georgia last year as a kick returner and a punt returner. You know, only 13 catches before this season.
And now he's number 3 in the league with 47 receptions coming in today's game. But he's great, TZ, with the ball in his hands after the catch. That's what they love about him. You ask him what's the difference between Thompson and Anthony Evans is, they're going to tell you Thompson is a guy that takes the lid off of coverages with his blazing speed, and Anthony Evans, who does have speed, but he's great with the ball in his hands after the catch.
49 catches for Evans. Here's Kamario Taylor.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. Touchdown.
You said it, Coach, not enough evidence. And it counts as a 45-yard touchdown for Anthony Evans, his 3rd of the season.
In Jeff Levy's offense, this is what happens, right? It's negative plays. They can be literally stoned for the entire game without gaining any yards at all, and they turn around and a minute and a half later they're in the end zone. That's the big strike capability of this offense.
Kyle Ferry's extra point is no good. It did look like Arkansas was offsides, and that's why. Ferry has made, yeah, they'll retry this. Ferry has made 60 consecutive extra points. But Kashawn Davila,
You think he jumped the gun a little bit
just
on that?
barely. Ferry took 7th all-time in scoring in Mississippi State history with his first extra point. Good crowd here at Reynolds Razorback Stadium that would love to see their Razorbacks win an SEC game. But they'll have to come from behind as Mississippi State reclaims the lead. 14-13 on a 45-yard Anthony Evans touchdown. In this 12-team playoff era, Coach Chiswick, that feels like a loser leave town match tonight with Oklahoma and Tennessee. Loser has 3 losses and most likely out of that college football playoff.
Yeah, most likely it's a do-or-die situation for both teams. And again, you look at their schedules. Oklahoma's got a brutal schedule even if they get out of this game. But as we talked about, TZ, whoever ends up going to the championship, it's an enigma right now. I don't know.
Let's check in with your friend and mine, Dari Noka. Cocktail party's always fun in Jacksonville or wherever they're going to play it in the future.
Especially the 200-year-old.
Yeah, one. That's a little aggressive. Mike Washington gets free, and that's a first down run past the 35-yard line down to the 38.
Bobby Petrino's not going to stop his idea on how to win this game. He starts out putting the back end pistol and just running the stretch play to the boundary and letting Mike Washington do the work after they get hats on everybody's great execution.
13 yards on that carry, 57 for Washington in the game. Similar play. And across up to the 44 where Smith makes a tackle. How about the amount of players that New Mexico State has that have transferred into other programs? Jerry Kill, the former head coach there who now works with Vanderbilt, just littering college football with former New Mexico State Aggies.
Yeah, great evaluation process of guys that were under-recruited. They go and prove themselves, and then they end up going on a stage in the SEC, and a bunch of guys are very, very productive.
Look at these holes that Washington is running behind, getting a first down into Mississippi State territory. That's 8 more.
You got to give the Arkansas offensive line a lot of credit. They're running the same exact play 3 times in a row. Stretch play to the boundary twice, stretch play to the field, and they're just gashing this defense for 8, 9, 10 yards a pop.
They have their third right tackle, Broussard, in, a true freshman at center in Cash Courtney. And Washington continue to running behind them, and he is tackled by Gillette down at the Mississippi State 45.
You would expect off of that action, they've run 4 in a row stretch plays, and now you got to be looking for a play action to come off of that, which would be the next thing in the series.
Washington out, Russell in. Sharp running around, and Green pressured and has to throw it away again. Gillette pressuring Green in the backfield there.
Mississippi State, Gillette comes off of the corner, he comes off of the edge to the left-hand side untouched, and ultimately is in Green's face. And if you look at the pressure, the offensive line slides to their left and turns number 16 free. And again, he puts pressure on him and makes him throw the ball out of bounds to get it to a 3rd and 7.
Could be 2 downs to get a first down here in this portion of the field. Green in trouble, gets out of there with flags down. He does have a first down inside the 30.
I think you're going to get a holding call on Hunter Washington in the secondary of Mississippi State.
Holding, defense number 15. 10-yard penalty at the end of the run, first down.
That was Javen Williams, I'm sorry. But he was holding the wide receivers. He was trying to get down the field.
18-yard run by Green. 5th most rushing yards by a quarterback in college football, at 603 coming into the game, and has 51 in this one. Right at the snap, a flag comes in as Green crosses the 10.
Offense, 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Critical penalty. You're down here driving the football. This has been an incredible drive. Now you're down inside the red zone, and now you have a penalty that creates a situation where you're 1st and 15 and all the momentum is lost. Again, going back to critical penalties at critical times in the football game to thwart drives.
It's Russell back near the original line of scrimmage where Kelly Jones makes the tackle. Second down. It's Washington who has been the primary back this year. Russell, as a freshman, lit up Mississippi State in Starkville last year.
Russell's the kind of back that Petrino likes. He's a 240-pound tailback. Luckily, they went unbalanced, and it was Kelly Jones, a 6'4" corner, that had to tackle him.
On 2nd and 12 all day, and Green, it's in there for a first down, or near a first down, I should say. Looks like he's just short C.J. Brown with his first catch.
Yeah, that was a busted coverage. C.J. Brown is standing all by himself, out by the numbers. Everything else was covered. If that was a pass that allowed him to hit him somewhere above the belt, that would have walked into the end zone because of a busted coverage.
Sophomore from Bentonville with his 22nd catch, and it's 3rd and inches. And now it's a touchdown for Taylon Green.
As a defensive coordinator, that's what you have to defend when you get down here inside the 10-yard line. It's all of the quarterback run game, especially when you have a guy like Taylon Green. They are going to run the quarterback as you get inside the 10-yard line. That's pretty much every offense in the country, and he walked in there untouched.
Arkansas has scored points on their last 4 drives, and the lead is 6 again. You cannot feign an injury to stop the game these days in college football, but you can when you're celebrating a touchdown. Razorbacks up 6.
Well, we're talking about the split zone down here where the quarterback is going to keep it. Watch the outside backer, number 9, Tony Mitchell. He's going to crash down. The tight end is going to come and sway back across the formation. They're going to fake the inside zone to the tailback, and watch Taylon Green walk untouched into the end zone. Here it goes. He crashes the dive, he keeps the ball, he kicks it out, and he walks into the end zone. 200-year-old split zone, TZ.
And he's healthy, by the way. And it's just part of the end zone celebration these days. Unequivocally, he's the quarterback for the Arkansas Razorbacks and one of the best in the SEC. But who's playing quarterback for Mississippi State, Tori?
Well, guys, Blake Shapen is still in the injury tent. He actually came out just a few minutes ago, no helmet in hand, stood on the sidelines, watched a play, talking to a trainer, shaking his head, looking a little frustrated, and then went back into the tent.
Kamario Taylor has played a bunch this season, coming off the bench in short yardage situation, but he just showed you his very best on that last drive. The true freshman from Macon, Mississippi. Can he get the ground game going on a sweep? There's Evans, a specialist in space for 15+ yards on the first play of the possession.
Love the call, and the reason I love the call is because that's going to open it up to fake that for some quarterback run game that they know that they're going to have to do with the new quarterback in the game.
Taylor surveys but overthrows Booth out of the backfield. My fault, he says.
Little heat on that ball, little too hot, Got to calm that throw down a little bit. But that's what happens when you come in early in the game. You just got to settle down and play.
Bulldogs also have Luke Promenhawk, the transfer from Florida State, who's played some this season at quarterback. But it's Taylor keeping it here and gets over the 45-yard line, where he's pushed out of bounds by Kanai Walker. It'll be about 3rd and 5 from there. Bulldogs are 3 for 7 on 3rd down, converting all of those on their first drive of the game. And Taylor on a keeper. First down, Bulldogs in Arkansas territory.
Love the call. And again, I think you're going to see a little bit different play calling menu with a different quarterback. Kamario Taylor brings a whole different skill set to the game than Blake Shapen. Love that call on third down.
Taylor throwing deep, but again overshooting. Seydou Traore and Caleb Wooden had his hands on the ball.
Caleb Wooden does a good job overlapping from the half. Goes up, almost picks the football. But again, Kamario's just gonna have to settle down. He's throwing the ball, he's releasing it a little bit high at times, put a little bit much on it on the check down. He's just gotta put a little less grease on the ball.
On 2nd and 10, it's Bothwell running into his own guys inside the 40. Bradley Shaw on the tackle. Again, this is the part of the field where both teams seem inclined to go for it on 4th down.
Keep in mind the play call here that this is 2-down territory, so runs are not off the table, particularly quarterback runs, because they're thinking this is 2 downs.
Bothwell, not a lot. Ken Talley, Larry Worth III.
That was a great job by Arkansas's defense, setting the edge. And again, you see 3 or 4 hats around the football. Bradley Shaw, Larry Worth, great job setting the edge. And really, their run defense all day long has been really solid. Everybody staying at home and fitting their gaps. It's been very impressive to watch by Arkansas's defense, who struggled against the run all year.
What does the true freshman do on 4th and 7? Stands in there, incomplete. Traore and Aiden Williams were in the area. Chris Wilson's defense gets a turnover on downs.
That was a huge 4th down stop.
20-14 Razorbacks, and they get the ball back too. What a game there. Keep us posted on that one. Headed to the final frame. 1-score game here in Fayetteville. There's Blake Shapen out of the tent. Kamario Taylor in the game playing quarterback. Arkansas's on offense though. Razzle dazzle. Raylan Sharp's off to the races inside the 20. There is a flag down at the end of the play. Hunter Washington's the one that forced Sharp out.
What a great first play of the drive. Great call on the reverse.
He's a little confused, I believe, by the number here. It's a 44-yard run.
There is no foul for a late hit out of bounds. The player was contacting the field of play. First down.
Hunter Washington did. He hit him before he went out of bounds. But Sharp with the biggest offensive play for Arkansas today. The wide receiver credited with a rush of 44 yards there.
Yeah, and they did it off a play-action run game, which they've been so successful at. That's why I say that was a great opening call of that drive.
Williams. Easy. Touchdown Razorbacks. Untouched into the end zone for 20 yards.
Yeah, that was the outside zone. Again, one of the lead plays that Arkansas has been running all day long. This time they call it the truck play, where they pulled 2 offensive linemen out there to create extra gaps on the perimeter. And Mike Washington just took it.
And Bobby Petrino will keep the offense out there trying to make this a 14-point cushion. It's only the second time this season that Arkansas has go for dose by Dos Equis here for the 2-point play. And a shovel pass to Rohan Jones. Green did not like the hit that Isaac Smith delivered as he threw the ball forward to Jones.
The 2-point try is good. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Kicking team number 3. He came off the bench. It's a 15-yard penalty assessed on the kickoff.
Can't do that. C.J. Brown coming off the bench for Arkansas there, and that's why the fans are upset. Well, it could have been Larry Worth. I don't know which, if it was an offensive or defensive player. We didn't have an angle of it, and Bobby Petrino does not like it.
When you look at this run from the backside, here comes the pullers. Again, it's the outside zone. They create extra gaps on the perimeter, and Mike Washington just walks in untouched. This run game for Arkansas today is lit up. It's on fire. They've got their number.
Let's check the 2-point play here. Now, C.J. Brown is already on the field, so it must have been Larry Worth, the other number 3, that came onto the field. We've been watching that fire for a long time.
Conduct against the head coach
oh, wow.
of Arkansas. That penalty is half the distance. Free kick.
And now Arkansas is going to have to kick off from the 10-yard line.
Yeah, I understand, you know, that there's emotions going on down there, but again, you're asking your players to hold their cool in situations when you're in control of a football game, and Bobby's got to do the same thing. He's got to, you know, regardless of what he thinks about the call, he needs to just calm down and move to the next play. Cost his team. They're kicking off from the 10-yard line.
Mississippi State has only returned 4 kicks all season. And they'll field this one at the 23. It's Booth. To the 40, pushed out of bounds, and here comes some more yardage.
That flag was legit. He was out of bounds and he got the extra push. The play was over. This is getting heated. Both sides are going to have to get their guys under control, both coaches and players. There's no place for this in the game, but that call was legitimate and it was the right call.
Maddox Lassiter, the fullback here, well out of bounds, pushing Booth.
Yeah, you can argue what you want. That was uncalled for by Lassiter. That was the correct call by the officials.
After the play was over, personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, kicking team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So, let's go down to the field and Torrey.
Guys, Blake Shapen has been visibly frustrated down here on the sidelines. Looked like he was trying to talk his way back into this game with trainers. He told them, I feel fine now, but they were not budging. He has continued to stand here on the sideline, but right now, he's tossing the football around. He just picked that football back up after a third trip to the injury tent since he first went out of this game.
Five-year player, Tori, for Baylor and for Mississippi State, pleading to come into the game. Meanwhile, Arkansas has committed 40 yards in personal foul penalties, and Mississippi State begins the drive on the Razorbacks 45. And it's Bothwell. That's his best run of the day, pushed out of bounds near a first down by Kanai Walker.
To your point, though, TZ, you're giving an offense like this who has quick strike capability. You're giving them all the field position in the world because of what? Because of penalties. So now they're sitting here 1st and 10 on the 35 because you had to kick off from the 10.
Design quarterback run for Taylor. And Camario gets leveled at the 30 by Larry Worth III.
Now that was a strike. Larry Worth brought the funk on that one now. You can hear it from up here.
And I wonder if they look at targeting here.
Previous play is under further review for Apostle targeting.
Well, for our generation, Chiz, that looked like a clean football play, but you have to see if there's an indicator here, if there was attack with forcible contact.
Well, this is definitely not a defenseless runner, right? So you got to look if it's crown of the helmet on the attack, right? The launch or crown of the helmet is what you're looking for, and this could very well go down as a targeting call. If you watch him and he finishes, it looks like a great tackle, but when you talk about literally attacking a runner with the crown of your helmet, this looks pretty textbook to me.
We were watching him in warm-ups before the game, Coach, and just marveling at his physical size. He's 6'4", 226 pounds. He was a walk-on at Jacksonville State before becoming a first-string scholarship SEC defensive back for Arkansas.
Yeah, and he's done a great job this year just in terms of his production. One of the leading tacklers on the team, but has a great presence back there. You know, this Arkansas secondary's got a lot of length, a lot of good-looking big dudes back there, and Worth is one of those guys. He's physical. He covers a lot of ground back there from the safety position.
Arkansas is off next week. He would miss the first half of LSU if it is.
After further review, personal foul with targeting against the defense, number 3, with the crown, 15-yard penalty, first down, number 3 is disqualified.
They'll miss the first half in Baton Rouge in 2 weeks.
Well, you hate to see that, right? The kid's out there playing his guts out. It was the textbook crown of the helmet targeting penalty, and you hate to see him, you know, lose next week. That's just tough. I have mixed emotions about targeting and how it's the punitive measures they have that go with it, but that was textbook crown of the helmet.
55 yards of penalty since the two-point play, and look at this tackle for loss by Quincy Rhodes. He sniffed out Anthony Evans on the sweep, a loss of 5.
Just when you need a negative play, right? 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line in the low red. They come out with a jet sweep, which was a good call.
That's Quincy Rhodes Sr., Quincy Rhodes Jr.'s best friend and father. On 2nd and 15, Taylor gets out of there. Camario, touchdown. This is why the people in Starkville love the true freshman. A 20-yard touchdown that gets Mississippi State back into the game.
Well, that's what makes college football so interesting, right? Having quarterbacks like this, they're changing the way they're calling the game. This is a different called game offensively than with Blake Shapen in there, and it's a great play calling series. This kid is big, he's athletic. That's what happens when a lot of backs are the ball. When you drop back pass and you don't have the right pass rush lanes and the integrity of those lanes.
Seydou Traore's helmet came off as Taylor scored the touchdown. Arkansas is a season high in penalties and yardage as this long conversation continues. You see Caleb Wooden take Seydou Traore's helmet off there. At some point, a decision needs to be made.
I don't understand what all the deliberation is.
We do have SEC Network football action next week we need to prepare for.
I'm not sure what they're reviewing, to be honest with you. I don't understand what would take so long about this. It either happened or it didn't happen.
Jeff Heiser, the referee, in a very lengthy conversation.
Well, let's not forget about the two penalties that got him down here to begin with, right? The unsportsmanlike on Coach Petrino, and then the push out of bounds by Lassiter. I mean, you're giving a quick strike offense. 1st and 10 on the 35. Going in.
There is no foul for number 3 coming off the bench. He was a man in motion on the previous play. There is no foul.
Okay, let's play some ball now.
And after all of that, here is Kyle Ferry to make it a 7-point game. He has never missed one. Kamario Taylor has come off of the bench, thrown a 45-yard touchdown pass, and now run one in from 20 yards out.
I would say that's a pretty good start for this young man. It's a confidence builder for sure. Now, throwing the football down the field, he just needs to take a little bit of heat off of the ball, gain a little more confidence in the pass game. Obviously, the first pass he threw was a touchdown.
Noxubee County High School in Macon, Mississippi, to Mississippi State in Starkville. Up next, it's Kentucky and Auburn, and then we have SEC football final with Dari, Chris, and Benjamin. They'll take you through the biggest stories of the day and break down all the SEC games right here on the SEC Network and the all-new ESPN app. You've been working with those guys for years, Chiz. How are the nerves between Watson and Doring as they're watching Georgia and Florida?
It's pretty tense right now. I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of good fellowship for dinner here coming up.
Gators up 3 with the ball in the 4th quarter on the Dogs over on ABC. And here The Hogs are up 7 on State. Green again to Washington, and Washington with 5 more on first down. If you're Coleman Hutzler's defense coach, how do you get these Razorbacks off the field?
Well, I'm going to load the box right now. I've got to get penetration. Outside zone is the #1 play Arkansas is running. How do you defeat that? You shoot a linebacker through a gap. You get some penetration with the defensive line. You stack 8 guys up there, but you have to go into this saying, they can't beat me with the run game.
It's Green to throw. Pressure picked up. Hit as he throws, though. And incomplete with a flag coming down at the end of the play. It looked like Brandon Jennings might have gotten a piece of Green there.
That was kind of the vertical penetration that I was talking about to stop the run. Now, it ended up being a pass, but you could see some penetration up there through those A-gaps early on the down.
And eligible player downfield, offense number 53. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
It's interesting there, instead of taking the penalty, coach, it's 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision, right? Obviously, if you take the penalty, you give them another down. With Taylor Green, you never know exactly how that's going to unfold, but now at least you have them in a pass, what is seemingly a passing situation, where it looks like they're going to pull everybody out and go with a 4-man rush.
And it's an easy first down ball to Raylan Sharp. Needed 5, he got 7.
Well, Mississippi State showed 6 people up there, and on the snap they bailed, playing 3 deep, which just leaves the outside perimeter throws, easy access throws, and that was an easy throw and catch for Taylor Green.
Sharp has come up big today, also had a long run to set up an Arkansas touchdown. Washington not much there, and the ball is out at the end of the play. Isaac Smith came in there to make the tackle, and it looks like Washington got back on that football. He did.
If you watch that, this is the penetration we're talking about. That's a great job blitzing a safety from the outside edge. Why is that productive? Because he's not considered in the box count, and the offensive line can't account for him. That's how you get TFLs, and that's how you stop these outside zone plays.
On 2nd and 10, Green stands in there, and it hit both players there. It was Cam Shanks it bounced off of, and Washington could have hit his head on the goalpost if he made the catch.
Hunter Washington breaks on the football. They're running double slant. It's right there in his fingertips at shoulder level. And you're right, TZ, that would have been a catch and carry to the end zone.
Taylor Green has been terrific today. 183 yards passing and a touchdown. He's run for 59 and another score, and so good on this down. Green facing pressure. Launches downfield, and it's incomplete. Isaac Smith almost with the pick. 4th down.
That's a great series by Mississippi State. You get a tackle for a loss, you slow the run game down. Isaac Smith's all over the field. He gets a TFL coming off the edge on a blitz. Now he's in position to make a pick down the field. But regardless, it's 4th down, and now Mississippi State has some momentum. They're back in this thing.
Raylan Sharp really with a pass breakup.
Yeah.
At wide receiver there.
Exactly.
First punt since the 2nd drive of the 1st quarter by Devin Bale. Anthony Evans standing inside his 20. Short kick. Hops right to Evans. And he's just ahead past the 20-yard line. And here are some more flags. 43-yard punt, 1-yard return.
Personal foul, face mask, kicking team, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's 11 penalties for 126 yards on Arkansas.
They have imploded with penalties in the last 10 minutes of this football game.
And Blake Shapen is back into the game. Camario Taylor led Mississippi State to touchdowns in 2 of his 3 series. But Shapen back out there, down a touchdown.
This surprises me a little bit, to be honest with you. I mean, the success that Camario Taylor's had. I mean, is Blake Shapen's still a little beat up?
He's going to throw, and it's deflected off of Evans, intercepted by Jordan Young. Evans should have had that one, and Young makes him pay.
Well, the old saying goes, tip balls are the defensive balls, right? Any tip ball coming off a wideout's fingertips, that's advantage defense. And again, that was a great job just by everybody having awareness of where the ball is. There's your tip drill that you work in practice all the time.
Senior from Tampa, Florida, started his career with the Gators, then went to Cincinnati, and now his first interception as a Razorback.
Yeah, that was a catchable ball, to your point, TZ, right? It's a little bit high, but that's a catchable ball. That's what the wideouts get paid to do. But that was a great job by Jordan Young, having the awareness to get it off the tip ball.
First turnover of the game. And Arkansas has a short field. And it's the big back, Braylon Russell, trucking his way down near the 35.
Well, I can tell you the game plan right now is to run the football consistently. Petrino's on the other side of the 50s, I'd say on the other side of the 40. He's got the big back in there. He's 238 pounds, and they're going to run the football.
Gators up 3 on the Dogs. Hogs up 7 on State. Getting late in both. Russell puts his foot in the ground. First down, Razorbacks.
Arkansas has already got over 200 yards rushing, and they're not slowing down. There's no change of game plan. They're running the exact same plays over and over and over again. Running the clock, eating the clock, keeping it out of Mississippi State's offense's hands.
Big Braylon again. Dives near the 25, where Jennings makes the tackle. Washington has 99 yards. Russell has been the situational back. Just over 20 yards in the game as Jeff Lebby desperately wants an SEC win. Zach Arnett was the head coach at Mississippi State 2 years ago when the Bulldogs beat Arkansas 7-3. Fake to Russell, Green rolling, throwing, and there's a flag down, and the ball crossed the goal line. They're calling a touchback. Raylan Sharp goes into the end zone. Let's see about this call.
Well, they'll definitely review it, but it looked like the ball came out before he got to the end zone.
Diego Brumfield with the big hit. Let's see the call here.
That's going to be a huge play for Mississippi State's defense.
The results of the play is a touchback. However, holding defense number 21, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So Arkansas will take the penalty, and the turnover doesn't count.
Yep. Rohan Jones is trying to get free. You look at Washington, just kind of bear hugs him, and that's where you got the holding call. And again, does this remind you of anything, TC? TZ, remember last week at the end of the game, 4 penalties for Mississippi State at the end of the game of the Texas game that were in critical times that helped Texas's comeback.
Approaching the end of the third quarter. Arkansas trying to make it a 2-score game. It's still Green with the ball. Not much. Red Hibbler on the tackle on the last play of the third quarter. We go to the final frame with 2 teams that are desperate for a win in the Southeastern Conference. Arkansas leads Mississippi State 28-21. Watching SEC football presented by Sonic. The big problem for both of these teams and why neither has won an SEC game this year is because of this quarter. Mississippi State has allowed 58 fourth-quarter points. Arkansas threw 3 fourth-quarter interceptions last week against Auburn. But they have the football up 7 at the Mississippi State 15-yard line. It's Green, and he's down near another first down. It's Hunter Washington on the tackle.
Well, it's the same thing we talked about earlier, right? When you get down inside that 15-yard line, you know, they're going to give you all kinds of eye candy. That time it was the jet sweep, and they pulled it with a quarterback run game. So they're just figuring out different ways to give the defense different looks, but ultimately doing the same thing every time. And that's putting it in the hands of Taylon Green.
It is 3rd and 1. And it's Russell, 1st and goal, Razorbacks.
At 240 pounds, he's a load down there to stop him. I can see them just giving him the ball again. It's 1st and goal.
Rylan Lanier. Lanier, a senior from Tuscaloosa, began his career at Indiana and then went to East Mississippi Community College. Can't really tell, and maybe getting up, colliding with one of his teammates. Already lost Jerron Manning earlier in the game, who, as you see coming off of the field, is out of his pads.
Rylan Lanier, one of the leaders back there, leads the team in interceptions. He's been all over the field today.
And to the goal line and in, Braylon Russell. Have those celebrations choreographed.
I think they stay after practice.
I do too.
Make sure they don't catch punts or work on their blocking. They figure out what their dance is going to look like. Which that was a pretty good one. It was they had some choreography going on there.
Can you tell the old coach would rather work on ball?
Let's not worry about blocking or tackling. Let's make sure we got this dance right.
Arkansas up 14 again. The ground game for the Razorbacks has been so strong today.
Driver's seat to get to the playoff.
The top 25 rankings reveal and 12-team CFP projection. Tuesday on ESPN.
Goodbye to Miami in those projections. They lost to SMU earlier today. Georgia's trying to hold on against Florida. And here the Razorbacks are up 14 now on Mississippi State. Gene Chizik and Tori Petrie. I'm Taylor Zarzer. Blake Shapen came back onto the field, down 7. Anthony Evans should have made the catch, but it deflected off of him, and Jordan Young picked it off. But coach, down 7 with all of the momentum that Kamario Taylor had. You have to wonder if Jeff Lebby is going to second-guess himself on that one.
Well, it's interesting. You know, you look at what Kamario Taylor had done. 2 out of the 3 drives. One was a 75-yard scoring drive. The other was a 45-yard scoring drive. 2 out of 3 drives. You know, maybe he earned the right to give him one more drive anyway, but he made the call and changed it.
Bothwell doesn't get much as Dix makes the tackle. Now, Shapen's out there for this drive because it's just about an obvious passing situation. And of course, he has been a terrific passer for Jeff Lebby these last couple of years. And we'll throw here on 2nd and 9, and on the slant, unable to make the grab is Brendan Thompson.
You know, drop balls, these 2 receivers, Thompson here and Evans before on the pick, they're usually sure-handed guys. You don't see a lot of drops from these guys, but these are clutch situations. You talk about winning a 4th quarter, players have to make plays in these situations. It's not just coaching decisions, it's players have to make plays in critical situations.
On 3rd and 9, the catch is bobbled and made by Thompson, and that is a first down.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. That was clutch, right? If they wouldn't have converted that 3rd down, that could have been a huge advantage for Arkansas. But that's what Thompson's expected to do in those situations. He has to make those catches.
Shapen hands it to Bothwell, and Fluff gets out past the 38 as Boone makes the tackle. Bothwell hurt in the Texas A&M 4th quarter, missed the Florida game and last week's game against Texas, and that is big Charlie Collins. Sophomore from Pine Bluff is down, and we'll check on him and come right back. That is a tight one in Jacksonville. We expected that to be the case, Dari, and thought we'd get a good one here too. It is a 14-point lead for Arkansas over Mississippi State. That's Charlie Collins, unable to put any weight on that right leg. Just look at the top of your screen as Justice Boone came in and collided with Collins there.
Yeah, you hate to see that. It appears to be some sort of knee potentially. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but you just hate to see it on a young guy like that.
Blake Shapen has completed 9 balls today. He's going to need to complete a bunch more to get State back in it. And he throws, and it's a good first down ball. Oh no, a knee was down from Thompson, short of the first down.
Great pressure on that one by Quincy Rhodes. Really forcing the throw fast. Great penetration. Showing a lot of good pass rush traits there.
And Shapen on a design quarterback run gets the first. Up past the 48-yard line. Started a game Shapen has in 5 straight seasons. He led Baylor to the Big 12 championship back in 2021. He is a fiery competitor, originally from Shreveport, Louisiana. And he's down, and the ball's out. And fortunately for Mississippi State, they pounce on it as Jimothy Lewis recovered it, but it's a loss of 10 as big Quincy Rhodes has been all over quarterbacks the last few weeks.
Well, he leads the team in sacks. He's got a great first step. He's really powerful. He's a big guy, 6'6", 275. He's powerful. He's got a great first step. He's got a great pass rush trait. That's why there's a lot of guys in the NFL who really think his upside is big.
You can see it. He has 8 sacks. The rest of the team has 7. On 2nd and 20, Shapen downfield, and that's caught inside the 30 by Evans.
Now that throw was on the money. Another seam route. Watch him follow through. I love what Shapen does. He doesn't care that he's got pressure in his face. What a strike to Evans.
And at the end of the play, Coach, there was a personal foul called right there on Xavier Sorey. Another personal foul on Arkansas. So 33-yard reception, 15-yard penalty. The 6th personal foul called on Arkansas today.
Yeah, this is a 5th-year senior, Xavier Sorey. He's one of the most productive guys on their defense. We're talking about winning games in the 4th quarter. Arkansas is doing, look, they're up by 2 touchdowns, and they're doing all the things that you do to not win games. There's no discipline, and they're not executing in these final few minutes of the 4th.
First down inside the 15. Shapen throws over the head, and flags are everywhere. Was that a catchable ball, though? Keyshawn Davila had his hands all over Anthony Evans.
Pass interference, defense, number 21. The penalty took place in the end zone. The ball be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
Davila tries a collision, the route, but you can't do that when the ball's in the air.
Coach Petrino put his hand over his head to say he didn't think that was catchable, but the officiating crew disagrees. 1st and goal, Mississippi State inside the 2. Booth, touchdown. Devon Booth on the day has -2 yards rushing, but he's got a touchdown.
Touchdown for the big back, right? I mean, look, this is just a great example of how both of these teams have lost in the 4th quarter the last couple of weeks, right? Arkansas has got a firm control of the football game in the 3rd quarter, and these penalties have just kept stacking up one after another. Mississippi State executed really, really well on offense that time. Good protection, good throws, good catches.
10 penalties on Arkansas, over 100 yards in penalties in the 2nd half, and State is still in it.
SEC football is presented by Sonic. Buy 1 Sonic Smasher and get a free large drink when you order in the Sonic app. And in part by T-Mobile 5G home internet.
Austin Lass, I love it. And Kevin Serapiglia dressed as characters from the movie Dodgeball. Well done, guys. A day late, but still works. Boy, these close losses, really for both teams, but especially for State, Coach. The Tennessee game in overtime in Starkville when they were 4-0, after losing to Texas A&M in the swamp, they're trying to set up a game-winning field goal. Instead, Shapen throws the interception. Florida survives, and then last week couldn't control a 17-point 4th quarter lead and lost. Now, Arkansas has 3 one-score losses of their own in SEC play and had the lead against Auburn in the last frame last week. Washington's gone off today, over 100 yards in the game rushing, and he gets 13 more, but there are flags down.
Holding offense, number 55, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Gene, these yellow pieces of cloth are an epidemic for Arkansas.
Yeah, that's the 14th penalty of the day. And you could look at a lot of different things on why Arkansas hasn't been able to close the deal. But today, if they don't close the deal, this is a huge factor in the football game. They're running the ball at will. There's no reason for a holding call there. They're running the outside zone. You work up to the next guy. And right now, Mississippi State hadn't had an answer for stopping it. But this penalty is crucial at a critical time.
Line of scrimmage throw to Cam Shanks, and he gets up near the 30-yard line. Georgia is in victory formation against Florida. Looks like they're going to survive a 24-20 win in Jacksonville, so this becomes the game in the SEC to pay attention to as we get into the night action. Ole Miss and South Carolina on ESPN. Oklahoma, Tennessee on ABC, and Auburn and Kentucky right here on SEC Network. The big back, Russell, and he's past the 30 up to the 32, and here comes a big 3rd and 3.
That was a great job by Mississippi State setting the edge of the defense. They tried to run the stretch zone again. They got the ball cut back, and then you had 2 to 3 hats in there starting with Jalen Smith. They were able to bring it down. Forces them to a 3rd and 3.
Arkansas has been so good on this down. They have to throw. Incomplete. Looking for Rohan Jones, but Jalen Smith was right there to cover him up. 4th down.
That was great eyes by Jalen Smith. It was the tight end coming from the backside, Rohan Jones, off the split zone action, and that was a great job by him, keeping his eyes on his coverage and making a play. That was a critical 3rd down play.
And you think about the guys, Coach, that had to come out of the game like Jerron Manning, and guys like Jalen Smith have to step up. And now Mississippi State with a chance to get the ball back as Bale punts it away to Evans.
With the opportunity of really good field position potentially.
Goes out of bounds inside the 30. That's a 39-yard punt. Let's go down to Tori.
Well, guys, it was a very eventful 3rd quarter. If you guys are just joining this game, Blake Shapen went down early in that 3rd, took a big hit, and was out for almost all of that 3rd quarter as the state staff evaluated him. Upstairs had called for a medical evaluation, and he was in and out of the injury tent about 3 times. Meanwhile, Kamario Taylor was filling in for him, and he scored on 2 of his 3 drives. Shapen was doing everything he could to come back in. He comes back in, throws an interception on his first play back on the field, so certainly not the game he's been hoping for.
Well done, Tori, but 9 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown on the last drive after that interception. Arkansas almost had 12 on the field. Booth now finally has positive yards rushing today as he gets near a 1st down. Miguel Mitchell on the tackle, and it's 10 yards and a 1st down.
And Mississippi State is sticking with the run game. They're close to over 100 yards rushing. Stick with the run game. You don't have to abandon it. You're down by 1 score, plenty of time left to run the ball.
Running the wrong way, though, is Booth, running into the arms of Quincy Rhodes Jr., but a flag down at the end of the play.
Wow.
It's just unbelievable.
After the play, personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, defense, number 97. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
You have him wrapped up here, Coach.
Yeah, it was a great negative play, and they're going to call that. They are. They're going to call it. You can agree with it or disagree with it, but the way he finished the play with the slam, they're going to call that 100 out of 100 times. You have a great negative play made, take him to the ground, and be good with that. And you know, Quincy Rhodes, he showed up today. He has dominated in terms of tackles for loss, negative plays. right now, Mississippi State can't deal with him. They can't block him.
He's a terrific young man. You saw his dad watching. Mississippi State with a new lease and Chapin with the ball. Down near the 47. Tori, we loved visiting with Quincy yesterday.
We did, and he told us his dad is his hero, and a lot of people say that he reminds them of his dad. His dad has actually never missed one of his games.
Chapin, first down ball to Thompson, who's down near the 20.
That was a laser. That was exactly the throw that you expect to see from Blake Chapin. Very similar to the throws he made last week at Texas. Great job on the slant, great catch by Thompson.
27 yards. A fresh set of downs. Chapin's ball's deflected. It was Xavier Sori, whose former team just beat Florida. And just here is the play before that to Thompson, Coach.
Yeah, and again, you hit Thompson with the hope that he can catch and carry, right? If there's anybody that can break a tackle and take it to the house, it's Thompson with his speed. And he was just a little bit, he got tripped up a little bit there at the end, or that thing could have scored.
8 personal fouls have been called on Arkansas today. 15 total penalties. A huge reason why Mississippi State has a chance here. Traore, not much. Lateral pursuit by Arkansas has been impressive today. That was Julian Neal.
Yeah, Julian Neal's a big corner, big physical guy. Was really good with the ball in the air, but that was a great tackle. They have doing a great job closing the ground and shutting off the perimeter both in the run game and the pass game today.
Chapin has been his best on this down. Mississippi State is 6 of 11, but the play clock is running out. Instead of Jeff Lebby getting the timeout, it's a penalty.
Before the snap, ball start. Offense, number 61, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Coach Jeff Lebby was right there to call the timeout, but thought Chapin had it. Instead, the right guard, Trevor Mayberry, moves.
Yeah, again, we talk about finishing, right? This has been Arkansas's problem leading up to this, and now you're at a critical time in the game. We talked with Jeff Lebby yesterday about in chaotic moments being able to execute, and they weren't able to do it that time.
Chapin, the pocket collapses, so does he. Philip Lee got to him. That is a loss of 11, and now Mississippi State will have to attempt a long field goal.
When you talk about the pocket collapsing, this is a 5-man rush. They showed 6, brought 5, pulled a guy out for a quarterback spy, and against this offensive line with so many moving parts, the whole thing collapsed on Blake Chapin. That was a critical play in this at this point in the game.
Ferry's 2 for 2 from 50 plus this year. He's made from 55. This is from 51, and this is no good. There is a flag on the play.
Running into the kicker, receiving team, number 16, 5-yard penalty, fourth down.
Wow, try again from 46. It's Miguel Mitchell, and Ferry knew it. So now Ferry. That didn't count. This one from 46 to cut it to 4. Got it. What a wild football game this has been. If you're just joining us, if you've been watching the cocktail party, we've had a wild one as these two teams haven't won an SEC football game this season, and they're playing their hearts out. The Arkansas penalty is a huge part of the story.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, when you look at 14 penalties on the day, the lion's share have come in the second half. You talk about not repeating history for both of these teams, finding a way to lose it at the end. Part of that is penalties. And again, you just saw another one that gave Mississippi State a second chance at a field goal.
Coach, Mississippi State's defense is going to have to get off the football field to give their offense another chance. But Talon Green for Arkansas has been terrific.
Yeah, and Mike Washington right now, he's been running with a lot of momentum today. They're running the same play over and over again. I can assure you, knowing Bobby Petrino and how he calls plays, it's very simple. They're going to go back to the outside zone and the boots and play actions off of it, but they're going to try to win this game running the football and eating the clock out and go on a drive that eats up the next 5 minutes and 7 seconds.
Talon Green today in the game is thrown for 190 and a touchdown. He's run it for 68. The Arkansas team has run for 254. These two teams have tried so hard to put a game away in the fourth quarter. Arkansas has the chance. And a good first down run for Washington. Washington over 100 yards rushing on the day.
Yeah, he's averaging over 6 yards a carry, and you can see there why, right? They're running the outside zone stretch play, and they're just he's got great vision and great balance. He puts his foot in the ground and he gets vertical. And again, until you get penetration up front, either off the edges or up internally, that's a hard play to stop right now because you're putting hats on everybody.
7 yards on first down. And Green with a first down run, but flags are in. Arkansas has 183 penalty yards.
Offense, number 83, 10-yard penalty, second down.
This is the most yards and the most penalties in Arkansas football history today.
I don't think I've quite seen anything like it, but it's indisputable right there. Did you see his hands? He put his hands right there on the defender. And when you see jersey and cloth pulled, they're going to call it.
All-time record. It looked like Lanier for Mississippi State hit Green at the end of the play, but it's not called, and it's second and 10. And Green in trouble, throws incomplete. His receiver, Omega Blake, was covered up. Nick Mitchell with the pressure.
Yeah, again, Nick Mitchell came off of the corner and was essentially unblocked, sitting right in the face of Talon Green, forcing him to throw the ball out of bounds. It's third and 10.
Sun is down in Fayetteville. There's a chill in the air. And here comes the big 3rd and 10 for Arkansas. Green out of the backfield. And it's 4th down. Washington is tackled for a minimal gain on the play as Nave Sanders and Diego Brumfield on the tackle. Coleman Hutzler's defense gets off the field to give Mississippi State another chance.
That might have been the most important third down stop of the year for these guys, seeing on where their season is right now. There's 4 minutes left in the game, 3:30 to be exact. That was huge. That was a great call by Hutz. And it was great zone coverage eyes where they were able to come out of their zones and break on the ball and get the stop.
Bale to punt. Evans is back waiting for it. Fair catch at the 32-yard line as we send it back to Dari in the studio. It feels like a scary game, Dari, for the Rebels tonight. Gamecocks Gave Alabama everything they could handle last week. There's most of the moon here on homecoming in Fayetteville. Can Blake Shapen deliver Jeff Lebby his first SEC win? Back-to-back scoring drives since the interception. They go to the ground. It's Booth. He doesn't get much. Mississippi State has all 3 of its timeouts and the 2-minute timeout. They must score a touchdown.
Well, going fast shouldn't be the issue, right? This is what they do on a daily basis. So this 2-minute drill is right up their alley.
On 2nd and 9, and it's a short ball that's complete to Traore. Miguel Mitchell right there with him. It'll be 3rd down. And about 5, maybe 6 to go here.
Well, they've got 2 downs to get it, right? So this opens up the playbook.
On 3rd and 6, it's Evans. It's incomplete. He would have been short of the first down. Davila laying the lumber. 4th and 6. Clock stops with 2:13 left.
Again, this is just kind of uncharacteristic of what you see from Evans. We've seen a couple of drop balls today. He's also made some huge plays. He's made some great plays.
You know, you could punt here because you have 3 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout. But if you're Mississippi State, you keep your offense on the field, especially with Shapen's ability to convert these all season long.
Well, they're going to have to block Quincy Rhodes. Whatever they do, they ought to focus on sliding the protection to him.
4th and 6, one-on-one ball down there. Caught! That's Thompson! A sliding catch with Neal right in his face.
Wow, Julian Neal had great coverage on that. And it was an underthrown ball, which for a DB, that's the hardest one to play, where you're running in phase with the wideout. It's an underthrown ball. What a huge play for Mississippi State. What a great throw and catch.
32 yards, Shapen to Thompson. The Bulldogs are still alive. His 3rd 100-yard game of Brennan Thompson's career. He wasn't even looking at the football till the last second.
No, Julian Neal knew what he was expecting. He got Brennan Thompson out there. That's their favorite route when he singled up. Throw the go ball. He looked at the last second. What an unbelievable play at a critical time.
On 4th and 7, Shapen extended the game, and now he runs forward inside the 27. Jeff Lebby has all of his timeouts, and he's got a short field here in a 2nd and 2. He hands it. Bothwell spins right near a 1st down. Fluff back for the first time in 3 weeks has had to fight for every yard today. 24 of them on the ground. 90 seconds left. Shapen again. Not much. Quincy Rhodes there to tackle him. Blake Shapen had to plead with Jeff Lebby to let him back into the game after he had to be tested by the medical team on the sideline. Kamario Taylor came in and led 2 touchdown drives. Shapen. He's pressured. He gets out of there. And he takes on defenders inside the 18.
Mississippi State has 3 timeouts. This is the time to use it right now.
57 seconds to go in the game. And the Bulldogs will use their first timeout as they prepare for this 3rd and 4. Jeff Lebby's team coach went 2-10 in his first year as the head coach in the SEC last year. This year, they've had 3 heartbreaking losses, including one last week to Texas, trying to end that 16-game losing streak in the SEC.
Yeah, think about that. It's been 2 years, right? 23 was the last one. That's 2 years ago. And you know what? Just go back to last year. This team is exponentially ahead of where it was last year. I really like the direction. He's changed the culture. This, if they can pull this out, this will be a win that he could point to that literally could be the shift in everything for Mississippi State moving forward, because it's not that they won, it's how they had to come back from being down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to win it.
Arkansas's defense has been so much better today. Can they get off the field here? 3rd and 4, Shapen rolling, throwing, and it is incomplete. He was trying to wedge it in there to Aiden Williams, but Williams couldn't make the grab. 4th down.
You know, that's what we talk about, you know, and we talked about it yesterday with Coach Levy, that in these critical moments, players have to make plays. That wasn't the most ideal throw, but you got to come up with those catches in these critical moments. Now you got them on 4th down.
Game on the line in Fayetteville. First, a timeout by Coach Levy. Aiden Williams had both hands on this football.
Yeah, if you look at this, he tried to squeeze the ball in there. He had Evans to the flat. There was a defender tracking him, but he probably could have dumped it off to Evans for a little bit better of a chance to get that 1st down. This is a critical, this is the game on the line. I think this is right. You take the timeout. Right now the conversation on the sideline is, what is our best play and who do we want the ball to go to? And you get the ball to that guy in this moment.
Somebody's about to win their first SEC game in a long time. And this play could decide it. On 4th and 4, Shapen throws, and Evans, that's a first, and that is a spin and a touchdown! Anthony Evans, right at the 1st down marker, broke a Julian Neal tackle, and Mississippi State's on top.
I love the play call. I love the guy they threw it to, right? Give it to the guy who can get yards after the catch. He's sure-handed. We talk about this all the time, TZ. Who's going to make the play when the game is on the line? Big-time players make those plays with the game on the line. Big-time throw, great catch, scoring with yards after the catch.
They are looking at this, Coach, to see if he stepped out of bounds here. Here's another look. Here's the catch. He's short of the 1st down marker when he breaks that tackle. Yeah, I don't see any.
From that angle right there, it doesn't even look like he was close to being out of bounds. Let's see it from this angle, because I don't see it. I don't even think that's even reviewable. If that's what they're reviewing.
How about this? A guy that was trying to find any way to get onto the field at Georgia last year. Well, I think that's what they're reviewing, coaches, to see how much more time came off of the clock there.
Now that would make more sense.
He caught 13 passes in 2 years for Georgia. He's caught at least 4 in every game this season for Mississippi State.
Yeah, he came into the game with 47
The ruling on the
receptions.
field is upheld for a touchdown. The clock operator never started the clock. Therefore, please reset the game clock to 43 seconds.
2 4th down conversions on the drive, including the touchdown.
Well, you know what I look at when I'm looking just kind of how the game unfolded, and what I like about Jeff Levy as a play caller, it's all about targeting the right guys, right? Thompson got 9 targets today. Evans got 9 targets today. You're looking at a team that converted some critical 3rd and 4th downs by throwing to both of these guys. And ultimately, if they win this game, that will be the game winner. But let's not be let's not jump the gun. Mississippi State's got to go out and play defense now.
Shaping a touchdown, a field goal, and a touchdown since throwing that interception. Let's take one more look at this broken tackle. Evans. It was Keyshawn Davila that had a chance at him. Plenty of time, though, for that man, Talon Green, in Arkansas. He's got 3 timeouts, and he's been terrific all season long. One of the best offenses in the game.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Coleman Hutzler decides to do when he decides to pressure. Arkansas's got 3 timeouts at 43 seconds, so that's a minimum. If they hold their time, they do their timeouts right, and they handle everything, they've got 5 plays minimum to go down the field, maybe more. So does Coleman Hutzler pressure? Does he not pressure? Does he play coverage? Whatever he does, he cannot let the quarterback, Green, beat them with his legs on scrambles, creating first downs, and they can't give up the explosive play in the air.
Scott Starzik, the true freshman from the Woodlands, Texas, made a 53-yarder against Alabama A&M. So to give him a good chance, that means Arkansas needs 40 yards in under 43 seconds, and they have all 3 of their timeouts.
Looks like Mississippi State is going to play coverage here. They're not going to blitz anybody, probably play with a spy in a 3-man rush, which is what they do.
And Green has time to survey the whole field, and it's Washington who doesn't get much, as it's Mitchell who makes the tackle, and the Razorbacks will have to use one of those timeouts. And that took 9 seconds, Coach, and it only picked up 3 yards.
Yeah, and again, going back to Hutz and what he calls in this situation, it was a 3-man rush with a spy, which makes total sense, but they played vision coverage where everybody had their eyes on the quarterback, where they could literally break on the ball, and he did a good job of not only tackling him, keeping him in bounds and making Arkansas use one of their timeouts.
Coleman Hutzler, the defensive coordinator you saw, and that's Bobby Petrino, the play caller and interim head coach for the Razorbacks. He's got one of the best playmakers in the game at quarterback. Does Talon Green have one more trick up his sleeve? On 2nd and 7, he's sacked. It's Malik Silla. And it's a loss of 7. And Arkansas uses its 2nd timeout.
Boy, Silla showed up last week against Texas as well. What a huge sack at a critical time, forcing Arkansas to call his last timeout. Works with just a jab move in there, right? He stabs inside, comes back outside, but look at the vision coverage. Everybody's eyes are on the quarterback getting ready to tackle the football. Again, they went with a 3-man rush and a spy playing zone coverage. Now you've got a 3rd and about 13. Arkansas down to 1 timeout.
Silla called the pressure player by Coleman Hutzler. And Jeff Levy, he comes up big to force this 3rd and 13. But Razorbacks still do have that 1 timeout left in 29 seconds.
What Mississippi State is going to have to guard here is that there's holes in zone coverages, and they got to make sure that even though they're playing zone coverage, that they go in the...
Incomplete, Coach, is Omega Blake the intended target there. But Diego Brumfield was right near him, 4th and 13.
You're going to see the same coverage again. That's the bottom line. They're going to rush 3. They're going to spy. They're going to play zone coverage. There's 23 seconds left in the game, so now you're down to 3 plays, maybe 4 if you're lucky, but I doubt it. So you're going to back everybody up, go with a 3-man rush and a spy, count on somebody in the 3-man rush to win the rush.
On 4th and 13 to stay alive. Green getting out of there. Pressure, it's incomplete. After all the heartbreak, Mississippi State comes storming back, but hold on. There is a flag down where Green was hit. Is this intentional grounding or is it a personal foul? Green is injured too.
Intentional grounding, offense number 10. Loss of down. This requires a 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 4 seconds. The clock will start on the snap.
Something that Mississippi State has not said in an SEC game in 2 years. It's victory formation. Here's the last play to get him off the field, and you certainly hope one of the best players in the SEC, Taylor Green's okay. He took a huge hit as his head hit the grass.
Yeah, you hate to see the game end that way with Taylor Green. It was a clean tackle. There was no malintent there. But for Mississippi State, what a way to come back and close this game out. The heart, the guts, the things they talked about all week, right? Forgetting about what happened last week, doing the things we got to do to focus in the middle of chaos to win a football game, right? Executing when all the chips are on the line right there. The fourth down execution to Evans for the touchdown. The fourth down stop right there to close the game out, and then the lack of penalties.
Nave Sanders delivering that hit. And it's good to see Taylor Green standing up.
What an incredible young man. What an incredible athlete. He's got a lot of bright football ahead of him these days.
I was going to say, Coach, that's a man that can play on Sundays.
Yes.
The player was down with 17 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 17 seconds. Arkansas is charged with third and final timeout.
Arkansas is off next week. They play at LSU in 2 weeks, and certainly hope he will be back. What a day for that man. A one that he will never forget. After all of the heartbreak, Mississippi State comes storming back in the fourth quarter to beat Arkansas and end this SEC 16-game losing streak.
This is a culture changer, TZ, which is what we talked about, changing the culture of Mississippi State, learning to come back when things don't look good for a win.
They're 5-4. They host the Georgia Bulldogs next Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Time. The Razorbacks have dropped 7 straight games and play LSU in 2 weeks. How about that guy in the fourth quarter? Blake Shapen, 8 of 12, 132 yards and a touchdown. 3 straight scoring drives to end the game. Gene Chizik, God bless you, my friend. Thank you for being here. For Tori Petrie, for Adam Coppinger, and our entire terrific team, I'm Taylor Zarzer. So long from Fayetteville. Tom Hart has you covered at Jordan Hare Stadium.
Coach, your first SEC win. How sweet does this one feel?
Really sweet. Just proud of our guys, like our toughness, the way we've continued to play, the way we've stayed together when things have been so far from perfect. Man, so proud of these guys. Love coaching them. We got so much left out in front of us, but feels good to get one.
So much heartbreak for your team this season, close games, but you play from behind and you win this one. What was the difference today?
Yeah, for us, just finding ways to make those plays at the end of the game, in the fourth quarter. You know, that's something for us that we needed to be able to be on the road in an environment that got very crazy at the end of the game. Our guys just playing the next play, converting on a huge fourth down, making the play. Again, just proud of them.
You had a crazy day at quarterback. Mario Taylor stepping in for most of that third quarter. Then Blake Shapen gets back out there. What did you think of the way those two guys played today?
Yeah, I just love the fact that Camario, when he came in, he took care of the ball. He did some great things, made an incredible play on really a busted play. And then for two to be able to come back in and go finish the game the way that he did. His toughness, the way he loves Mississippi State, our football team and our program is elite, and I love coaching him.
What does this win do for your program today?
It does. It gives us the ability to get all the past behind us and move on to the next one. We've got an incredible opponent coming in next Saturday. Our guys are going to be excited to play that game back at home at Davis Wade.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Appreciate it. Hell State.